Hi, my name is Ed Bass, and welcome to Infor DEPM version 11. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at using DEPM from a planner perspective. In this case, we have logged into DEPM as a planner to complete the budget process. The user interface has been updated to make it easier for you to navigate the application. On this main screen, you'll see there are three main sections: your task list. In this case, these are data entry areas. The middle section, which provides a status of data submissions and approvals, and the right side, which is a favorites links or bookmarks to other areas of the application. This makes for quick navigation to areas of the application you use the most. The data entry items shown under My Tasks are identified by cycle, version, entity, and application in the top area. Clicking on Planning Assets takes us into the data entry workbook. All of the data entry areas are set up as workbooks. In this case, we have an overview, data entry, and a commentary. Commentary allows us to enter rich text notes or do document attachments. An overview allows a place to put an overview for the entire data entry sheet. The data entry area itself has analysis columns for comparison, as well as percentage, change, and sparklines. The color coding on the data entry sheet is gray for totals, blue for data entry, and white for areas that we cannot enter data. Darker blue shows areas that have been changed. If I wanted to change the layout of the data entry sheet, I can use the report function area. So for example, if I wanted to turn off the analysis columns, I could do that just by unclicking that box. Additionally, I can add analysis columns if I wanted to see multiple years of comparative information. In addition, I can collapse the left-hand pane to provide more room for doing data entry. The tabs on the data entry workbooks are context sensitive. If I click a property, plant, and equipment in this case, I'm going to get additional tabs that allow me to do a schedule with opening and closing balances and additions and retirements, as well as custom details, which allows me to set up my asset groups ahead of time, provide a unit cost, and then just enter in the totals for each of the number of units that are required. Going back to the data entry area, one of the new features that we have is the ability to do splashing from a total level. So I can take this number here, this 430,000, and I want to do a splashing on that. So let's say that I want to increase that by 10% and then have that splash across all of the values that are on the sheet. So it takes the 10% increase, applies it down each of the rows, and then also applies it to all of the columns. So this is a quick way to do a percentage increase for an entire data entry view at a particular time. Let's take a look at another option that you have on a different data entry sheet. Let's say you want to take a look at Gna Expenses. Just like the other workbook that we looked at, the tabs are context sensitive. So if I select a particular account, the tabs will change, and now I can put in line details to allocate my costs across the different travel types. So for example, I already have airfare in there, so I can then type in hotel and put values in for hotel and keep adding lines and itemizing the totals until I have the details that I need. So far, we have looked at data entry capabilities in the standard finance area. As I mentioned, these are in a workbook format. Workbooks are configured using the workbook wizard. Another form of workbook is the decision package. Decision packages are typically used in public sector, but actually can be used by all customers. A decision package is an initiative or group of accounts, costs or revenues that are considered as additions to the base budget. Decision package can include operating costs, capital expenditures, and also additional employees' positions. Let's have a look at a decision package workbook. I've got my tabs set up here, and a lot of them are similar to what we've seen before. The overview, in this case, will allow me to provide a justification for the after-school sports program. The financial base, this is where it becomes a little bit different. So the base becomes the values before I do any data entry. Data entry allows you to do your budget additions. In addition, you have an ad hoc tab for doing your data entry. When this is set up, you define what do you want on your rows and what do you want on your columns. In this case, we've selected accounts and also segment 1. And in the columns, you have the original actual values from 2015. And then for 2016, I have the budget amounts with a total for 2016 showing at the end. I mentioned earlier that we have the ability also to add positions to this. So in the position tab, I can add positions that I'm going to be needing for this after school program. And let's say that I also need a coach here. And I can select that from the jobs that we have defined within the workforce budgeting component. And we may need 2 coaches here. So I'm going to put a date for selecting them. So the costs associated with these positions would then be added to the financial base and to show up in the financial summary. You also have the ability to link in your strategy, goals, and tactics. So we have a goal here we selected for increasing brand awareness. We're going to do a social media campaign. And when this information is being collected as part of the decision package, additional details can be provided. Details on the tactics, impact on the organization, whether it's positive or negative, and also a program date. These are all completely configurable and set up on the configuration of the decision package itself.